welcome back to Daleks Aren't Robots. I am Josh. I am here with my friends. We have Kari.
Hello.
We have Zach. We have Justin.
Hello.
And now today we actually have someone new on the podcast with us, Blue.
Sure, I'm Blue.
For those who are new to the podcast, Zach and I are Whovians. Kari and Justin are non-Whovians. Blue is a semi-Whovian.
Partial, half-baked.
And now we're going through all of Doctor Who. And today we're looking at The Rescue, a very big, important turning point in Doctor Who. Justin, do you want to sum up?
Yes. Jacob had just fallen in love with his best friend's vampire baby.
No, that's wrong podcast. Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Optimus Prime. Duh.
So Dr. Ian and Barbara end up on a planet that the Doctor has been to, and he knows the people there, and he's like, oh, yeah, no, they're good people. But they find out that there's a ship crash that had been stranded there for a while with a girl whose name I do not remember.
Vicki.
Vicki, thank you.
She even spells it for us in the episode.
And a guy whose name I also do not remember. Bennett. Thank you. Basically, Vicki is a wide-eyed girl who I'm not sure why she was there.
She was on a ship heading to Colony?
She was the only survivor of the ship. She was traveling with her father.
Yeah, her mother had just died, and her father took her to another place where he had gotten a new job.
Okay.
And then they crashed on this planet.
Where they're apparently being held hostage by a guy in a pretty cool robe and monster mask combo.
Yeah.
It looks pretty rad.
Coquillion.
Coquillion.
That nobody could pronounce consistently throughout the episode.
We can just call him Coco.
Coco. I like it. So Barbara ends up falling off a cliff and meets Vicki. And Vicki was like, oh, hey, you're from the rescue party. You're here to rescue us, which the older guy, Bennett, he's not keen on being rescued.
No.
And Coquillion comes through on a fairly regular basis, apparently, and just goes into the captain's quarters for hours on end. And I mean, does Vicki just think that they're hooking up in there?
Oh.
It just occurs to me.
Vicki's like, my two surrogate dads sure spend a lot of time together.
Yes.
And both of them are assholes.
Yeah, they're both jerks.
Yeah.
So Barbara had gotten separated from Ian and the Doctor, who are navigating a mountain filled with traps because there was a cave-in that Coquillion caused.
Yes, with his earthquake.
With his magic. I guess it was kind of a wrench. It just kind of looked like one of those animal-shaped objects people would, use to put umbrellas in.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I think they describe it as like a construction thing.
Yeah.
They say it's basically a spanner, so you're not wrong about it being around.
Yeah. So they go through the mountain, they find all the ruins of these people whose names I cannot remember.
They just call them the Dido people.
Yeah. Then we find out, big surprise, in a twist that everybody saw coming, Bennett was actually Coquillion in disguise.
All along.
And was basically trying to keep Vicki from escaping.
He was keeping her as a witness because he murdered a guy. And so he was like, I need her to vouch for me.
Well, he murdered a guy and then he wiped out the whole rest of the crash crew and the Dido people.
He bombed all the Dido people and genocided them.
So to cover a murder, he committed genocide.
That's not a great strategy.
I guess in for a penny, in for a genocide.
Bennett was not smart.
No.
And then his solution after that was to Scooby-Doo it.
And then when outed, his solution is more murder.
Yeah.
Yep. And that part almost worked.
Yeah.
You would have gotten away with it, too.
If it hadn't been for you damn kids and your damn doctor.
So, the Doctor summons ghosts, which are never explained, to deal with Coquillion / Bennett.
Okay. Tacitly, they kind of do. The idea, I think, kind of is that, some of the Dido people did survive, but they're hiding from humans because the last time they had a human for dinner, he butchered them all. That's the implication.
I'd more like going with the Doctor just told everyone in the TARDIS that, oh yeah, the Dido people showed up. I totally didn't kill Bennett myself.
He's not a killer. He said it himself with a straight face.
No, he didn't. He just said, do I look like a killer?
Vicki pointed out he doesn't have a killer face.
Yeah.
I mean, Barbara, on the other hand, we missed the whole part where Barbara slaughters Vicky's dog, though.
Oh God, he
Yeah.
did. I actually kind of
Yeah.
blocked that out because I found that deeply unpleasant.
And then everyone's like, but Barbara's such a nice
Yeah,
person. It's okay.
Basically, yeah, they made Vicky apologize for having her dog slaughtered and making Barbara feel
Yeah.
bad about it.
The
Yeah,
argument they
that
seem
sucked.
to use
I-
is, but the dog was ugly, so
It wasn't a real dog.
And it's like, as an ugly person, I generally object to that. Just like, what?
I will say Vicky will take moments to definitely have digs at Barbara further on.
Well, good.
justified.
Yes. But yes, and because the Doctor has a granddaughter-shaped hole in his life right now, they took Vicky.
Well, also she didn't have anyone other than the Dido.
Exactly.
Yeah,
ghosts on that
everyone was dead except the Dido people who
Yeah.
probably don't want a human around.
I mean, that's why the Doctor took her and probably will not murder her.
If she waited there by herself for 2 days, a rescue party.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the Dido
Well,
people destroyed
6
the
days, I
thing,
think.
Yeah.
so no one's coming to rescue them.
No. Also, I mean, the Dido people would be pretty justified in saying, no, we don't want you on our planet.
Yeah, and then it ends.
And then it ends.
And then it ends.
Yep. And then they fall off the cliff.
Yeah, they did. That's a cliffhanger ending. Ha ha.
Yeah.
ha.
Yeah, so a lot actually happened in those 2 episodes. So let's break it down and talk about our main characters. And why don't we start with the new one with Vicky?
I do not know how old she's supposed to be.
I don't either. I was wondering about that.
She acts like she's very young.
Yeah, she plays it like she's like 13,
Yeah.
but she looks like she's 20.
She doesn't look old, but she does look older than the way she was portraying that character.
The actress is 21.
Okay.
So I was close.
From what I can gather, Vicky is supposed to be roughly the same age Susan was supposed to be, so
Yeah.
around 14, 15.
Oh.
God,
No, Susan was 16, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Oh,
Susan was
okay.
16, I
Okay.
think so.
it's still messed up that the Doctor left her with it.
That makes it a lot more messed up, yeah. Then again, David was probably supposed to be around the same age, so
Yeah, I know, but still, it will never not be weird.
true. She seems a lot more childish than Susan.
She does.
Like, I don't mean to be a jerk, but it was really, really obvious that Bennett was Coquillian, like, immediately. So she seems kind of gullible.
I mean, she is dealing with everyone she knew having just died.
Yeah, well, and like she's really mad at Barbara for killing her pet, but that again was totally reasonable. Even if the show
Yeah.
does not seem to realize this, I don't know. It's hard to say what she's going to be like. She has a rapport with the Doctor right away. She's pretty brave in that she helped Barbara and hid her from Coquillian, this person that she is terrified of. And she helped Barbara treat her wounds, so she knows what to do in an emergency. So that's cool.
Yeah.
She's an orphan. She's from the future. She left Earth in 2493. She does seem to be pretty independent minded and she doesn't want people to feel sorry for her, but she does have that kind of irritating crying fit at one point.
Yeah.
But it was right after her pet was killed.
I will say, until they came up with the name, her character was just listed as Susan. She is literally Susan Mark II.
Susan too.
Oh, that does not bode well for her characterization.
This was the actress's first television role, and she ended up hating it pretty much as Carol Ann Ford did.
Really?
Because she was given no acting to do, just screaming and crying.
Yeah.
Oh, God, really?
Blue, any thoughts?
I gotta be honest, I found her character a little bit irritating. She seems to have some mood swings. At one point, she's just like, oh, like, you have to be quiet. Coquillian's gonna hear you. And then she starts like screaming, and I'm like, what happened to the being quiet? She was very much written to be the new companion. Like, I just feel like all of her lines were really just for the plot and not really to like have her actually have a character.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. I do like she has this one bit where she talks about how Coquillian will know. Coquillian knows everything. There's clearly like a bit of brainwashing going on from Bennett
Yeah.
to keep her feeling trapped, which I find interesting
Yeah.
as a dynamic. But ironically, because this serial is so short compared to most, it mostly goes looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we see why that is. It's because he's listening into her side of the spaceship all the time.
Yes, yes.
So, of course, he knows everything. Plus, he's
yes.
Wait, what?
Bennett. Yeah, but Bennett can listen into everything that's going on that side of the ship. So,
Yes. I will also note the producers wanted her to dye her hair black
Oh god.
to look even more like Susan.
Dude, I'm like, you already have one dark-haired woman. Take it from me, who is face blind. Like, don't have more than one dark-haired white lady on a show.
And her response was, if they wanted to do that, they should hire Carol Ann Ford back.
Yeah.
Oh, so the actress has got some backbone at least.
Good for her.
And Carol Ann Ford actually visited while they were filming this to wish her luck on the role.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh.
And she got along really well with Hartnell
Oh, that's good.
because Hartnell was definitely really beginning to deteriorate at this point. In her own words, sometimes it was hard for Hartnell to get 2 words out in a row.
If we have nothing else really pertinent to say about Vicki, I'd like to use this as a chance to pivot over to the Doctor. I mean, for the most part, at this point, Hartnell seems to have the Doctor pretty much down.
Yeah. I liked him in this episode.
He was pretty good in this.
He's kind of sad. He clearly misses Susan. He's nicer to Barbara and Ian than usual.
Yeah.
And he was super nice to Vicki, and he was very sympathetic to her.
I will say he seems to be doing most of the heavy lifting in this serial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who figures out that Bennett is secretly Coquillian.
What?
Next thing you're going to say, Tagana's bad. What?
Well, no, obviously we can trust Tagana.
Clearly.
But he does that. He has the relationship with Vicki. He knows the planet. He gets a nice little solo scene about him missing Susan. At the same time, you can really tell that his body is deteriorating and the part is getting kind of hard on him.
I will also say we do have a great line from him with the "you're insane."
Yeah.
His whole confrontation with Bennett Coquillian.
Oh, that was great. And it was so classic too, because he figures out that Coquillian is Bennett. So he goes down to his lair to confront him by himself without telling anybody else because he's so overconfident.
Yep.
And then, of course, Bennett tries to kill him because he's already committed genocide, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't execute somebody twice. Bennett kicks the crap out of him, and then 2 Didoans come in and save the day. But, like, that whole thing was great. It's so classic that he's that overconfident, and it's classic that he gets into trouble.
It kind of reminds me of, what's that Sherlock Holmes story where Sherlock and Watson get like cornered by the murderer behind a curtain? No, the blackmailer. And one of the blackmailer's victims then shows up and just shoots him.
Oh, Charles Augustus Milverton.
Yeah, reminded me of that a little bit.
It's like, well, you kind of had that coming, buddy.
Like, congratulations, you solved the whole thing. Now how do I get them out of here? Uh-oh.
Yep, I liked that a lot. And he was good in this episode.
He was. I liked the aspect of him knowing these people because I like it when they remind us that he's been around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've gone to a planet that the Doctor's been to before. I did find it interesting that the Doctor just assumed, oh, they were nice last time I was here, so obviously.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you don't even know when it is here. Like, just because the Romans were nice to you doesn't mean that they're going to be nice to you in modern day France, right? Like, you don't know.
I mean, in the Doctor Who universe, the French people all speak with British accents anyway.
Yeah.
And funny that you mentioned the Romans because we'll get to them in the next Hartnell.
Oh, good. I'll look forward to having an aneurysm then, too.
Blue, what's your history with Hartnell? Have you seen any Hartnell before this?
I think I've seen one Hartnell, but I think I was probably also like 14.
How does the character stack up against the New Who Doctors, do you think?
I think it's interesting because New Who really embraces a lot of action, but I think that his speech at the end definitely stood up for me. You know, it carries that drama and that weight, and like I love the moment when he invites Bennett Coquillian in. He's like, yes, do come in. Do come into your secret lair where I have already arrived.
With his back to Benequillian the whole time.
Yeah. I felt like he's got the gravitas that I feel like New Who tries to give the Doctor and doesn't always succeed.
I feel like in New Who, he wouldn't have been punished, though.
I feel like in New Who, he would have gotten the upper hand and won. We wouldn't have had the Didoans come in.
He would have been like sneaky and had something up his sleeve and like secretly shoved the jewel claw down his somewhere.
The plot would have allowed him to get away with it. His overconfidence.
Whereas here, he at least gets the crap kicked out of him.
Yeah.
And has to be rescued.
I appreciate, right, when Bennett like grabs him, he's like trying to attack Bennett with a pillow. And I'm like, really? A pillow?
Right.
I was kind of waiting the whole time, though. At the start of the serial, he's given a rock.
Yeah.
So I thought in the final thing, he would have smacked him with the rock.
I forgot about that. Chekhov's rock never went off.
This is because Chekhov didn't exist yet.
If you give the doctor a rock
Yeah.
in the first act,
He has to kill somebody. Yeah.
with that rock by the last.
He at least has to try.
Yeah.
It never came back.
You know, he just added it to his rock collection,
This is
He's just going to keep that in his pocket, you guys.
Yeah.
along with the poison from.
Oh, yeah.
right. How many murder weapons can we give the doctor?
How many pockets does he have?
It's not like Ian gave him a shovel.
Yeah.
You think he got rid of that shovel from France?
Yeah. He still has the shovel.
All right, I think that's everything we've got on the doctor. Let's talk about Ian and Barbara.
Oh my God, Ian is jovial.
Yeah. He's actually pretty good at this.
Yeah, he got nice and cheerful, and he really removed the stick from his ass over the last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the stick in his ass was related to his tie.
Oh, that could be.
He's wearing a broader tie, a different tie than he has been before.
So now he's like, my neck is free. I can finally be loose and fun.
I actually thought that Ian was significantly lacking in this episode. So first of all, he walks out of the TARDIS, they encounter Coquillian, he's like, oh my God, he must be evil because he's ugly. He just keeps on telling the doctor that the monster was really ugly and therefore I knew it was evil. He also just straight up runs away. He runs back to the TARDIS and he's like, I thought Barbara was right behind me. I'm like, no, you didn't.
That's true. There is a little bit of fishiness in that part.
Yeah.
I'm like,
He's
Yeah.
not even looking back. He's like hightails it. And then you have the whole situation with the razor sharp, very slowly moving swords of death that he triggers
Horrible death trap.
by grabbing onto a handhold where the ledge is already big enough for him to stand. And then he's like, oh no, I can't get out. Whatever will I do? And the doctor's like, put your coat over it. How about that? You know?
This-
turn to the side.
Why would these peaceful people have a sword trap?
I mean, just because you're peaceful doesn't mean you're an idiot. You
Hmm.
Well, this is around the environs of the temple, so maybe it's on the way to the temple.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's basically an Indiana Jones setup, right? You got to put
Okay.
traps outside.
Also, they did have rewrites right before filming. Originally, Coquillian, for that first confrontation, had a mind control ray that he used to mesmerize Barbara and Ian. So that would explain why they acted confused and why.
And why Vicki was too.
Yeah.
A mind control ray would have helped folks' characters in that moment.
It is true that Ian really didn't have much to do,
No.
No.
just in general. He was there to hang out with the doctor.
He just kind of make jokes about how the doctor's old and he's losing it. And then he makes the joke about, Vicky's like, no, you guys must be 500 years old. And he's pointing and laughing at Barbara ha, 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 ha.
I actually thought that was kind of cute.
Yes, I will mention another bit of cut dialogue that I feel would have really helped the episode. When the doctor first leaves them outside the TARDIS, Barbara and Ian have a conversation about what would happen if the doctor ever just closed the doors on them, like he did to Susan. And the doctor comes out and says, don't worry, there'll be time when we do part ways, and I don't really like parting ways anyway, so it won't be anytime soon.
That would have been a nice scene.
That would have been kind of nice.
Yeah.
Real quick, though, I do want to touch on Barbara because as a Barbara stan, I was very disappointed in how they treated her.
She killed a dog.
Murders a dog.
Not great
Like-
for Barbara.
And is not at all upset about it.
Yeah, she's not sorry.
No.
Which is very unlike Barbara. Her characterization felt off in this one.
Yeah.
It did. She felt a lot more callous.
Yeah, and I could definitely buy her accidentally killing somebody's pet, but in this particular case, Vicki said no, don't
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah, and it probably also didn't help that they put too much explosive on the wooden flare gun, so she got kind of blown back a little, and like it was in shock, and like her face was stinging for the rest of the filming of that episode.
Oh my god! So she couldn't move her face. That's why she's not upset. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, the script is the script, so I don't think that changed.
I do just want to say, everyone at home, someone got injured making this episode, take a shot.
Don't, Josh, you're going to kill these people. Don't do it. Don't play our drinking game. You'll die.
Otherwise, yeah, Barbara and Ian both are very much kind of pushed to the side for most of this story.
Yeah, they're not the focus.
In doing research, though, Zach, you found out something very interesting about Jacqueline Hill. There was a TV drama written by Rod Serling called, what was it, Requiem for a Heavyweight?
Yep.
Yeah, it was about a boxer. The guy they wanted to play the main character could not do it.
Sure.
I forget why exactly, but he wasn't able to shoot. And so the lead actress spoke to the director, who was she married at the time, or was she just...
They married a year later.
They married a year later, about this guy, Sean Connery, who is like hella cute and seems to be good at this whole acting thing. We should totally hire him. He'd be a perfect fit for this. And he didn't want to, but this lead actress was very insistent. And can you guess who that lead actress was?
Jacqueline Hill.
Jacqueline Hill. Barbara discovered Sean Connery.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's really all I've got with that.
They should have made her the director.
Blue, real quick before we move on, any other thoughts on Ian or Barbara you want to get to?
Not much. I just agree with folks that Barbara really got sort of shafted.
Yeah, she got the short shrift.
Mhm.
Character assassination.
Anyway, final main character to discuss, the TARDIS.
She's not even in this one. She doesn't even go here.
She's in this one.
Barely.
She's there at the beginning.
Still haven't fed her. Stuck in a cave. Bad
Yeah.
parking place. The usual.
Zach, you've got stuff to say about the TARDIS?
This is the first time that we hear a noise when the TARDIS materializes. We've heard noises inside, not outside.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Also, just something weird that rarely happens. If you notice when they're having their conversation, the TARDIS light is just flashing, probably just saying "feed me" over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh.
If we don't have much more to say about the TARDIS, I do have a hypothesis I want to put forward, or something I noticed.
It's the check engine light?
No.
It's a trouble light.
But no, the thing I noticed, the Doctor is asleep when the TARDIS lands. We know the TARDIS is sentient, and I believe the TARDIS cares to some level about the Doctor. I think maybe the TARDIS heard the cry from Vicki and was maybe like, the Doctor needs someone like this. Like, he's missing Susan. I'm going to bring him to someone.
And maybe he'll frickin' feed me.
Maybe he'll feed me. No, especially when you factor in the fact that his species is telepathic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
The sentient spaceships they make would have a certain degree of that, wouldn't they?
Even if they didn't, he might be projecting in his sleep.
True. There's implications that the TARDIS brings the Doctor where it wants to go, not necessarily where he tells it to go. So I think maybe there's something to that here.
That would explain a lot, but boy, she needs to learn how to find a better parking place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's it, I guess we should move on to supporting characters or supporting character. There's really only Bennett Quillian.
Bennett Coquillian, the bad guy, the bad murderer who badly killed the crash survivors.
Bennett
And-
is Coquillian?
Yeah, it's super obvious.
I guess I should note that after the first episode, in the credits, for the role of Bennett, they do give it to Ray Barrett, but for the role of Coquillian, they say it was played by Sidney Wilson.
Is that even a person?
It's the surnames of two creators of the show.
Oh.
Oh.
So they're the monster all along.
Yes.
Oh my God, the BBC did try to kill the Doctor. Literally, the show was trying to kill the
Yes.
Wow.
But I will admit that makes it seem like they actually thought they had real mystery on their hands and didn't want to spoil it.
I mean, if an 8-year-old was watching the show,
An
maybe.
8-year-old in 1964 Britain. I think they may have been genuinely surprised.
Maybe little kids. Maybe
Yeah.
little kids. But they wouldn't be the kind of kids that would notice anything in the credits either.
No,
That's
true.
so sweet that they tried, though. That's very sweet. His monster suit was pretty cool, and for once there was like an actual reason that it looked like a guy in the suit.
Yeah, because
It was a guy in the suit.
Guy in a suit will look better than some other monsters we see
You know,
that are supposed to not be guys in suits.
I just want to know what the hell kind of ceremonies they use that outfit for.
They worship a bug god.
Is it
Tantric sex ceremonies.
for some hardcore raving?
Yeah,
Yeah, it glows in the dark if you put it under a black light.
Yeah.
it's a society of furries.
Oh no. No, that's not a furry. It doesn't have fur. It's scalies. You gotta
Yeah.
use the right terminology.
But it's also
Right.
not a
Oh.
reptile.
We don't know if it's a reptile. I don't
It
know what
looks
that
like a
thing
bug.
was.
It's a bug.
Well,
Half the reptiles on this show have those features.
I can say that Daphne Dare, the costume designer, she designed the Vord.
Spoon-headed gimps.
Yeah, this is a lot better than that.
She had more flexibility on this one.
A lot more, clearly.
Yeah.
What'd she say about this one?
She designed the mask and head at least on a close-up of a fly, and the robe was supposed to kind of look like an animal's fur. The shoes were supposed to be like a bird's claw.
No.
Nope.
No.
Not even a little.
I mean, the head
Right.
being a fly, yeah, I see that. Everything else, no.
No, but the head looked really good. It looked really cool, and it did look like something that someone would use as a ceremonial mask. I mean, that made complete sense.
I mean, the robe even kind of looked ceremonial.
Yeah, it did. I thought it was nice.
I don't know what kind of ceremonies you could do with those claws on.
Yeah.
But
I'm just very curious about their culture now.
Someone out there, write a fanfic about the Dido people, because we want to know what's up with them. They seem cool.
They seem cool.
Yeah, the doctor liked them, so.
Yeah.
So they're probably a bunch of genocidal, murderous tyrants, right?
I like to think that the doctor went there when he was taking a year off from Time Lord Academy, and it was like his Burning Man.
Yeah.
That would be something someone would wear at Burning Man.
Time Lords have a room springer.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
exactly.
There are also two Dido people here. They don't say anything. They just stop Bennett from murdering the doctor.
I am still not convinced they are not ghosts.
Well, they're not cool dressed enough. That's what I was going to bring up.
They had those shoulder cape things.
Yeah, they had white coveralls with boots, and then they had the capelets were cool. The capelets were cool.
and they didn't emote at all, ever.
No,
No,
they
not
didn't.
even a little.
You know, and maybe they pushed him off the cliff, but it seemed like he just couldn't see in his mask and fell off.
It really seemed like he just got so scared that he fell by accident.
Yeah.
The script, they're supposed to be like hooded figures that kind of appear out of nowhere in
They
minutes.
don't have any
minutes.
hoods on.
Well, in the script, I guess that got cut. Maybe they couldn't afford more hoods.
So
Yeah.
were they supposed to be ghosts then?
Unclear.
Okay.
I just want to point out, when talking about Bennett Quilliam, we talked entirely about the costume, which is basically all there is to him. He's just evil.
He's just an evil murderer who's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not even fun camp evil. He's just
No. He was very grim and dour.
And he's not competent like the previous Regan either.
No.
Yeah.
I will also say that in the original script, Bennett was a lot meaner to Vicki.
God, he was mean enough here. That was bad enough. He was really curt to her.
Yeah.
Oh, and you got to mention the monsters. They were so obviously just a guy in a suit. It was even
Yeah.
funnier than usual.
Yeah, he was just a guy laying down.
Did those things even have arms? It didn't look like they did, but they must
They
have.
did.
It looked to me like they only had arms. Like they were snakes with arms, but no legs.
Yeah, long tail.
They look like lobsters kind of in
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah, I could see that.
We haven't seen them again, and there's really been no other stuff. So we don't know much about the sand beasts.
Do they have light up eyes?
I think that was just the studio lights catching them. They aren't supposed to be light up.
Okay, that makes sense.
And before you ask, Kari, no, there are no toys.
Damn it! That was on my list.
There are models of Coquillion, but they're all more modern.
They do look cute though. Like I would keep one of those as a pet. I don't know.
It's kind of amusing seeing everyone so scared of them.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Run after me? You don't even have legs.
And then Barbara just murders it.
I know. It's like, dude, it's just sitting
I'm
there.
really not over that.
Yeah, me neither.
No. And like she clearly told her to stop, and
Yeah,
it
she
wasn't
kept
just
killing
once,
her.
it was twice.
She said, please
Yeah.
stop, please stop, please stop. And Barbara just keeps killing him.
Stop, it's already dead.
Yeah, poor Sandy.
The doctor is really taking her under his murderous wing.
Yeah, Barbara's becoming the new doctor. When they finally get back to 1963, Barbara's just going to murder everybody.
Yeah.
Gonna have some mysterious disappearances
Yeah.
at that school.
Oy. All right, I guess we should move on to setting.
There are some cute miniatures of the broken spaceship that are just
It is very cute and very clearly made of cardboard and duct tape.
The miniatures were designed by Raymond Cusick, he who designed the Daleks and the brain slugs.
The Morphos.
Ooh, the Morphos.
And made, like most things in Doctor Who were in this era like that, by Shawcraft Models.
They did a good job. It was freaking adorable.
The interior of the craft spaceship, however, reused a lot of sets from the ship and the Sensorites.
I wondered about that.
Which, considering that they were both from future Earth.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, consistency.
And then plus the other part of that was interesting was some of it, it was supposed to be a crash ship. So there were some just like piles of spaceship bits. So that looked good, I thought.
Yes, and that was an actual motorized radar dish that they put in the miniatures. That was an actual moving radar dish.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm going to go back and look at that after we're done here. Oh, yeah, they had some nice little production setting pieces in this one. Like the Indiana Jones traps were really cool too in the cave. And then once you get past the wall, they look back and it looks like the monster's face with the bug eyes.
I like the idea that it was more like it felt more like a ritual thing when you're heading to the temple, like a ritual defense or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, that'd make sense.
Yeah.
And the robes and stuff in the temple at the end.
Yeah, and the temple at the end looked neat. Did they use pieces from the Aztecs or something in that?
Yeah, like some of it was stuff that was still lying around. Yeah. I don't know specifically from the Aztecs or not, but it was stuff that was lying around the BBC. I will say that they were very proud of that. They actually had to stop recording because unlike the other sets, they had to deconstruct all the sets to build the temple set because it took up all their recording space.
It looked nice.
Yeah.
It did look nice. And they even had some like misty stuff coming up over
They had some smoke going. They dimmed the lights.
Yeah. I didn't notice it as much on the first watch through, but I did on the second.
Blue, any notes before we move on anything we were discussing?
I didn't really have much for setting. I thought the temple looked nice. It mostly looked like a very large, dark room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked.
We do have a single spotlight, which is very dramatic for the reveal.
That's true.
Reveal.
I appreciate that they can now do a single large room because they haven't been able to do that before in studio recording.
Yeah, there was basically room for them and like one horse.
And even then, they have to like put their face like right up against the horse.
Yeah, they got real close to that horse. They're probably married in some states.
I'm sure that's a fanfic somewhere.
No, it's not. It should be. Or shouldn't be.
No, it should not be.
Or it shouldn't be. I haven't decided.
Do not want.
Oh, fuck.
Now we're shipping horses. Okay.
Oh,
all right. Okay, let's move on to production before this gets any weirder.
You're late.
The one thing I want to ask, this episode was penned by David Whitaker. I had assumed as a filler just to write a story to get the new companion in there. In case you don't remember, David Whitaker was the script editor for Doctor Who for pretty much right up until this point.
Well, Whitaker's last story as script editor was the previous one, Dalek Invasion of Earth. He wrote this one, and Spooner was the script editor. Dennis Spooner.
And you said before that script editor was more like a showrunner.
Pretty much.
Right.
At this stage, you get to decide what stories go in, what changes need to be made, and basically what the continuity of the show will be under your tenure. Whitaker, of course, also wrote The Edge of Destruction, which has the infamous scissors scene. He will continue to write from this point out, but I was curious Zach, if you know anything about what prompted Whitaker to write this story.
He did want to write a crashed spaceship story with a monster menacing people. That's what I have.
Right.
I will say this for stuff that did get reused. I forgot to mention the death scream of the Sand Beast and the score was all reused from the Daleks.
What sound was it from the Daleks?
A Dalek dying and screaming.
Okay, so a tiny octopus in a can dying sounds exactly like a man-sized lizard dying. Okay.
That's been my experience.
Clearly, you need to kill a lot more lizards because it's not been my experience.
For the death of the Sand Beast, director Christopher Barry sent Brian Hodgson of the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. At the beginning of the enclosed tape, you will find Tristram Carey's horrible noise, which is the death of a Dalek, which I want to use for the death of the Sand Monster, and use that noise to make the living roars of it as well. So yeah.
So that thing is a Dalek sound.
Kind of like the death scream of a Dalek.
Boy, that's a morbid conversation to even have.
Apparently he was running low on money filming this, so he didn't hire someone to do a score and just reuse the score.
They couldn't afford another death scream.
Yeah, couldn't you just have like Jacqueline Hill like stand on the side and go, ah?
Or, the guy in the suit.
Like, death scream. It's just not that hard to come by.
Shouldn't be that much of a problem.
I feel like they're pinching pennies in the wrong place. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it did sound pretty eldritch. I guess I didn't notice it when the Dalek was doing it.
For the Daleks, because they have that tinny quality, it's possible like they took that off death screen on the thing.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
I guess we should get into how the show almost died this time.
Oh my God. Take a shot, everyone, if you're still alive.
At the end of Dalek Invasion of Earth, which was, even though that's 2 serials into season 2, that was the end of the first block of filming and the only block of filming they were approved for. So Donald Baverstock, the head of serials at BBC One, said, well, maybe I'll give you another 4 weeks and we'll see how it goes. Verity Lambert didn't like that and was pushing for 13, and even said if it's only 4 more, Verity Lambert in this case said, if that's all you can give us, then just cancel the show.
I should mention 4 weeks means 4 episodes, not 4 serials, not 4 stories, 4 episodes.
So he agreed to 13 weeks. She went back to them, and then Hartnell got his agent to call and was like, no, I can't agree to 13. I want 26. To be fair, this is after Hartnell's lawyer had to call
Oh,
to give
yeah.
him X-ray.
By the way, remember when you almost killed me? And I kindly didn't sue you?
Zach, what were the ratings on this?
Yes, so Dalek Invasion of Earth was the first time that they broke the top 10 most watched program of the week and held the highest views Doctor Who had reached at 12.4 million. The second episode of this got 13 million viewers and was the 8th most watched program that week, which is the highest Doctor Who had ever reached so far.
All right.
So all the people trying to kill it were just going, yeah, I will get you
Why won't you die?
next time. Next time.
It doesn't matter how well the show does, that just makes them want to kill it more.
Yeah. All right. It's now time for our scores. This is the period where we take our complex, well thought out opinions and boil them down to a single number between 1 and 4 Daleks. Blue, as the guest, would you be willing to go first on a scale with 1 being the lowest and 4 being the highest? Where would you place this serial?
I think I'm gonna have to go with 3 Daleks.
All right.
I didn't really like Vicki. It felt a little bit like filler. The plot didn't really hang together, but it was fun and I liked it. Definitely does not deserve 4 because I don't believe in killing dogs.
Yeah.
Indeed. Not even if they're super ugly.
Yeah, nope.
Kari, what's your take?
I pretty much agree with Blue on this one. I found Vicki kind of irritating, but at the same time, she just lost her pet, so I feel bad for her too. And it's very reasonable to be upset after that. It's super obvious that Bennett is Coquillian. I think we all clocked that in about...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? It's a shocker. I think we all clocked that in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to have to give it a $3 as well, because it was still entertaining and I liked it.
All right.
I hope Vicki doesn't become annoying.
All right. Justin.
Kind of in the same boat. It felt very insubstantial to me. I'm going to give it 2.5 because I liked what was there.
Okay.
But this is actually one where I feel like there wasn't enough filler.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have benefited from maybe being a 4-parter.
I could see that, yeah.
And having some red herrings.
Yeah.
Even one more episode just to expand on the relationships a little bit would have been nice.
I think that would have helped.
Yeah.
It felt very incomplete to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2.5. I did like
Zach.
I think I'm right around everyone else. I think I'll go 3.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel like if they could have spared cutting an episode from one of the other serials in this filming block, it could have benefited from that, but that would have been way too much negotiation. I understand.
Yeah. All right. I was originally going to go with 3, but then I remembered Barbara killing the dog, and I'm going to drop it down to a 2. Half a Dalek for them killing a dog, half a Dalek for it being Barbara killing a dog.
Yeah.
Was not a fan, but there's enough going on here, particularly the doctor's stuff in this serial I rather like. I just kind of wish there was a little more to everything else.
Yeah.
So that's everything. Blue, anything you want to tell the people before we sign you off?
I don't really exist on the internet, but everyone should look up and support your local harm reduction centers because they're doing good work.
Okay. On a more self-serving note, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Buzzsprout or wherever you download your podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Don't follow us on Instagram because we're not there. We're old. We don't understand how it works. But do follow us on our website, Daleksaren'tRobots.com. All links are down in the doobly-doo. And yeah.
All shall love us and despair.
Indeed. And speaking of despair, next time we're going to be returning to the modern era with our first Modern Who 2-parter, a story of political satire, dark war-like themes, and fart jokes.
And fat
Yeah.
jokes.
Oh no.
As we're
Really?
covering Aliens of London / World War III.
Do we have to?
Contractually speaking, yes.
Damn it.
You signed up for this.
We'll see you all next time. And until then, be sure to feed your TARDISes and don't trust Bennett.
Don't trust random flymen.
Only trust Tagana. He is totally trustworthy. He has the
Yes.
best chin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blue, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, it was fun.
No problem. Yeah. And that's it. Everyone stop listening now.
Go away.
Killed Sandy.
Yes, well, so might I have done.
No.
Hmm?
Well, you haven't got that sort of face that kills things.